Okay. So yesterday we completed the cloud type, cloud service type. Any questions with respect to that? Cloud comparison also we spoke about. Any question with the last class? Okay, if none, let's proceed. So today onwards, we are going to talk only on Azure. Okay, what is Azure Service? What are the fundamentals? What are the basic terminology with respect to the Azure? All right. So till yesterday, we have been talking the common cloud, which is very much true irrespective of any CSP you take it. Okay. Now, hands onwards, we will only focusing on Azure. So first of all, what is availability zone? Okay, before we get into the availability zone, there's a smallest unit. Let's get into that first. How many of us knows the data center? What is the data center? What is data center, guys?
Data center where they store their hardware servers.
Yeah. It's a kind of, just like your on-prem data center, you also have in office, you have the server room, right? You have under the server room, you will be having racks, you will be having um, thousands of computers or probably servers, probably virtual servers, or you will be having VMware, EXSI, some sort of database, physical servers, network appliances, and so on and so forth, right? Similarly, similarly for any sort of data center, when we talk about data center is consist of or comprise of million thousand of compute network appliances. That network appliances come in the form of routers, switches, or any other network devices you can take on. Then millions of LAN cables, which are bundled together to provide a single unit. Okay. So when we talk about data centers, it's like in one data center, it's a physical building, you can say, a physical building. And under the physical building, you will be having a different set of rack. The virtualization will be there. Then under that, millions of cables will be there, a power system, cooling system, security system, and so on, right? That is the data center. Microsoft claim that Microsoft has maximum data center across the globe compared to any cloud vendors. Okay. Till I think till last month or so, Microsoft has close to 62, 64 data centers, right? So that is a data center. There you will be having virtualization. Okay. You will be having racks. You will be having a physical server. You will be having under the physical server. You will be having guest operating systems, right? That is called data center. Now the second, when you combine data center, say it's a physical location, right? So you will be having one data center here, one data center in another location, and so on. So when you combine the data center, okay, this is your reason. This is reasons. And here you will be having data center. So data center, combination of two or more data centers, okay, is known as regions. Here you will be having here, this is your data center. DT say 01. This is another data center. This is another one. Okay, this is called data center. So in under one region, you can have a multiple data center. Now there's another concept called AZ, availability zone. Availability zone is also, what is that? It is availability zone is combination of two or more data center, but this time this provide more resiliency and fault tolerance. Okay, in one availability zone, you can have at least at least three data centers. Okay, and the availability zone is designed to provide the fault tolerance. Okay, in case one data center is not responding, or there is a problem with one data center, power shutdown, or say any sort of natural calamities, so with the help of availability zone, the data or the resources can be accessible from the different data center. Okay, so availability zone is like combination of two or more data center, but this time it is for the fault tolerance purpose. Okay, here it is. You will be having one availability zone, two availability zone, and three availability zone. So here, under one availability zone, you will be having multiple data center. The only condition is, as per the Microsoft documents, the distance of availability zone, you know, availability zone and availability zone 2 and 3 should not cross 100 miles. Okay, that is something because of the data resiliency, fault tolerance, and data should be available at any point of time. Okay, it's a physical separate location within the Azure region. So you can see this is my region on the top. Then on top of it, you will be having availability zone, a second layer. You can see this is your AV, availability zone. Okay. Under that, you will be having data center. Data center 1, data center 2, and data center 3. So one region can have a multiple availability zone. Again, one availability zone should contain at least 3 data center or more. Okay, so this is your reason. Now, let me take you to this location and let's explore the Microsoft global infrastructure. Not this one. Microsoft global, this one. Datacenter.microsoft.com and globe. All right. So now you see that here all of the this dot here, you can go and check it out what all these dots. Here it is, maximum updates. These are the different data center, availability zone, edge location, and so on. Okay. So if I say let's take a tour for Microsoft data center. Okay. So this is going to be a kind of virtualization tour for the Microsoft data center, which actually help us to understand and determine that how data center work. So I believe you can still see my screen. Now on the screen, you have something called enter the lobby. So if I enter the lobby, this is what I get it. Okay. Next is operational room. This is what it says. Next is mechanical room. Okay. This is mechanical area and Microsoft manage data center operations and so and so and so. All right. Next is server room. This is the server room. This is the heart of Microsoft Cloud, massive computing and storage capacity, and it innovates server blades designed built under the project Olympus, Microsoft next generation model for open source cloud hardware. So and so, if I click on explore server room, you should be able to see all of this. Let's play this one also and understand.
Data center is just made up of thousands of servers. The server is essentially no different than your PC at home or your laptop at home, but it'd be just a lot beefier and it would have a lot more redundancy built into it. My name is Ronan Murphy. I work in the Dublin Data Center campus. Capacity planning, it's almost like a giant game of Tetris where we're looking ahead at what hardware is going to be deployed in our data centers and based on the shapes.
Okay, so whenever you have time, please go and just explore this. It will give you some more idea and the insight how the Microsoft work. This is the network room. If I go inside the network room, this is what it says.
Whether withdrawing cash, updating your medical records, buying something online, or catching up with friends on Teams, you are using
Am I still audible, guys? Seems to be.
the cloud. But how does this information
Yes,
move
audible.
from you
Okay.
Yes.
So it seems there's a lag in the video itself. Okay.
to the Microsoft Cloud data centers and back? Traffic from internet service providers and telecom companies enters and exits the Microsoft global network at our edge nodes. Hundreds of these POPs are placed within milliseconds of global population centers. The data is encrypted on the Microsoft web. And flowing across its hundreds of thousands of miles of fiber and subsea cable to the company's unrivaled
So guys, please have a check
number of
whenever you
data
have
center
time.
regions where the
Seems
data
to-
is processed and stored.
Okay, so next is innovation room. Like that, you can just visualize it to, how the Microsoft data center team works all together. This is your innovation room, project native, DNS storage, and so on. So if I just click on this,
We are producing a lot more data than we're capable of storing today. We think that to put a dent on the problem, we need a radical new solution. And so we're looking at DNA as one such solution.
And one of the reasons that we're using DNA is its density is orders of magnitude higher than anything that exists today. Its reliability and resiliency, and then it has relevancy. We think that as long as there are humans alive, we'll care about reading our own DNA. That means that we'll have a storage format that will be with us that will always be relevant.
We have been working on using DNA for data storage for several years now, but the process so far has been incredibly manual. There's literally people moving around.
yes, these are the couple of videos,
So the only way-
guys. You can always go and check it out. Next is home. So I'll share this with you guys. Here it is. datacenter.microsoft.com Globe Explorer. Let me share in the chat window. You wanted to explore right away. This is the URL. And here you have latest update. What is the latest update? What is the new data center is being opened, or here what we have it. Here we have the regions, network. So if I just remove the regions only, you will see the regions, where all the regions we have. So as you can see, regions is South Central. This is your US regions, and then here we have different Europe region. Here also we have the different regions altogether. Okay, then you can just roll over, and you'll see in Asia Pacific, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and here down there we also have somewhere South Africa North, like that you can see here, South India, Central India, and then we have India Southern, and then we have here India regions. Then here Malaysia, Singapore, Southeast Asia, and all Asia Pacific. And here we have China, so Korea. So across the globe, regions are there for Microsoft. Okay. Here again, you can change and filter it basis on availability zone, basis on industry compliance, global compliance, and so on, so forth. Okay. So please have a look here. So it will give you more insight how the Microsoft global team work and how the data center look alike. All right. So region we spoke about, and then we also have something called paired region. It means East US, you have the paired region East US 2. East US, you have a paired region called West US. So what actually it does, each Azure region is paired with another region within the same geographies. We'll talk about geographies. Geographies is what? A specific country or the continent. For instance, if I ask you, okay, how many data centers, how many regions we have in India location, how many regions we have in US location. So that is called geographies. Okay. And so what happens is paired region is what? Pairing replicate Azure resources to minimize the service interruption from the natural disaster or the power or network outage. That is the reason, paired reason we say. For example, East US has a paired reason, East US 2. South India has paired reason with Central India, and so on. And then there are some special reasons which actually designed only for a specific compliance and legal purpose. For instance, Azure government for the North America, US defense, they have their own Azure portal where the public will not be able to access, or it is not open for the public. Okay. Azure China, Azure Germany, they have the different portal altogether. It's not the portal.azure.com, it has a different portal altogether, where the people should not be able to access unless they have access, unless they have the privileges to access. Okay. So we spoke about data center, we spoke about availability zone, we spoke about regions, right? We spoke about paired region. Now there is something called geographies. Geographies is what? As I told you, it is location. Okay, it's a location. For instance, if I go on this Microsoft documentation, here it is, select geographies, here it is. Under the US, you have these many physical location and data center regions, and available to so and so customers and partners. This, the moment you change the geographies, say to India, so you have these many data centers and location, the physical location, all right? Physical location. Similarly, you can select any regions. For instance, if I select Europe, under Europe, you have where North Europe and West Europe. West Europe means Ireland and Netherlands. Similarly, you can select any region, Asia Pacific. These are the Asia Pacific, Hong Kong and Singapore. Similarly, you can go for Canada region. You have two different locations. All right. So this is called geographies. Then there is something called availability set. I'm just parking it for now, guys. We have a dedicated chapter coming up under the virtual machine section where we'll go and deep dive this topic. But for now, just to keep you informed or aware, this is one of the technology to provide the fault tolerance and to avoid any sort of failure, planned failure or unplanned failure. It actually during this exercise, it helped to keep the server up to date. I mean, it's a kind of fault tolerance technique. Okay, for the from the virtual machine prospect or virtual machine scale set prospect, right? So it has two things: updated domain and fault domain. We'll deep dive this. Then we have resource group. Now, resource group is what? It is a kind of container, right? It's act as a container to aggregate the resources required by an application into a single manageable unit. Every Azure resource must exist in one and only one resource group. Okay, so you can imagine a kind of, here it is. You can think like this is my resource group. Okay, this is my resource group. And when you create the resource group, of course, we will be creating multiple times. You will name it. For instance, AZ Lab 900, something. Then you will have to associate the labeling with logical boundaries. It means the reason you will define it that, okay, this is the resource group and I'm creating resource group under this location. So for instance, if I create under Central US, okay, so this is going to be my resource group under Central US. Now, all the resources which I'm going to create under this resource group will be here. It means if I'm creating a SQL database, this will be here. This is one of the resource under resource group. Okay. Similarly, you can also create a kind of anything, any resource. For instance, if you're creating virtual machine or say database, it's going to be under one resource group. So it's going to be under one resource.
So all these resources, they provide memory and disk space and all those things.
Come again, Muru Ras?
So whenever we assign some resource under this resource group, so each resource, do we need to define the configuration? For example, the RAM size and or whatnot, right? Like disk space and those kind of things. Do we need to define, or by default they assign something for each resource?
No, so you have an option to define it at the time of creating deployment. You have an option. For instance, some resources which you deploy, which come as part of complementary or prerequisite resources. For instance, the moment you create virtual machine, during the deployment, not only the virtual machine, along with this, there are some sub-component which are needed for the virtual machine will also get created. For instance, your data disk, operational disk, your C drive space, that is your data disk. Then public IP, private IP, NSG. This will be by default gets created during the virtual machine. Now, when you create the virtual machine in the Azure portal, you will be defining all these units. For instance, configuration prospect, you will be defining what would be the size of the VM, what is the minimum base size that you can choose, you can select it. Then do you want any additional storage? That also you can choose. Do you want to have the public IP or you do not want? It's up to you.
So that is
yeah.
so that is only during deployment, or
Yes. Most of the things you will be able to do that during the deployment, but the certain tasks you should be able to do post deployment also. So when we are going to touch base on the virtual machine section, we will be doing all this practical, like how to resize the virtual machine, how to increase the disk space, how to increase the data disk, what are the troubleshooting that we should be doing it, why to have more than one private IP address, and when to use the public IP address, in what circumstances we can use the public IP address and private IP addresses, what is the use of load balancer, everything is lined up. So don't worry about it. We will be doing it. And in today's class also, we are going to deploy one of the virtual machine to get a glimpse of how Azure works. Okay.
okay?
Okay, so till now, any questions, guys? We spoke about resource group. Let me reiterate. We spoke about data center. We spoke about reasons. We talk about availability zone. We talk about geographies. We went through the global infrastructure of Azure. We spoke about resource group. And finally, we spoke about availability set. So these are the couple of terminologies and frequent glossary that you should be knowing it, because we will be dealing with these kind of terminologies going further in our classes.
What is is there any relationship between the availability zone and the geo zones or whatever?
Geographies, right? Yeah,
Yeah, I thought.
availability zone is something like under the one under the one geographies, how many availability zones are there? There's no relation as such, but geographies is is like on top of availability zone. So under the availability zone, you see that the concept of availability zone is to protect the data center. Okay, to protect the data center. And geography is just a kind of notification that okay, under one location you will be having these many data centers, but it does not provide any sort of load balancing or DR. It is just a kind of notification or notation that yeah, under one geographies you will be having these many set of data centers or these many locations.
Okay, so one geographic location, there will be more than one availability zone.
Yes, possible.
Okay.
Right. So these are the couple of terminology what we have it. And one more thing, guys, as we get along, you will see, certain services are not available across all the, or certain products will not be available across all the regions. So that we will be talking a little later. Now, for instance, here, product available by regions. You can select any regions and you will select, for instance, if I select virtual machine, okay. So these are the reasons. You can select virtual machine, and regions you can select non-regionals, or say in India, if I select. So in India, what all not available? If you see that Central India, this series is not there. It's not available. But if I go for any other series, it's there. DC2 series is not there under Central India, but in Central US, we have it. So certain things which why we have to understand this, because as we get along, you might have to deploy the virtual machine, and some of the virtual machine you might not see in the selected regions. So there should not be any kind of surprise that okay, this series is not there. And moreover, you will be getting a kind of prompt during that selection that okay, this series is not available or something similar to that. Okay.
So the series here refers to the model number or something for that.
Yeah, yeah, it's too early to discuss, Muru, but
Okay.
hold your horses. We'll get into this virtual machine and all. Yes, these are the you can say categories. You know, the series which has the different set of configuration. Like for instance, A and B is meant for a kind of dev environment where the charges will be very minimal, but at the same time it will be slow also. But if you go for general purpose, the D series is more relevant. And then if you go for high compute, the compute base, then E series is more relevant, where you need to have some kind of SAP HANA also. So then you can go for F series, GS series. So we'll talk about all these series. Okay. So let's go and do some kind of virtual tour today of Microsoft Azure portal. Okay. So to access your, let me close everything. To access the Azure portal, the first thing first, you need to type portal.azure.com. This is the website to access your Azure account. Now, yesterday we spoke about the free tier account, guys. Please ensure that you go ahead and create the free tier account. It's very straightforward. You do not have to do any rocket science there. Simply put your first name, last name, Outlook account, or in India, we also have, I think you need to supply the PAN card nowadays. I'm not sure because of some restrictions or some sort of policy they brought, I mean, Microsoft brought to avoid any sort of misuse. Okay. Okay, so let me tell you, a very first time when you're done and dusted with your free tier account, what is the first thing that you need to check? You will have to come here, portal.azure.com. Okay, and of course, you will be getting a kind of confirmation email as well, stating that your account has been active, right? So here you will come here and type something called subscription. Subscription. Click on subscription right here. And here you should be your subscription name. If it is a free tier account, you should be seeing free tier. Then you will be having one associate subscription ID. Your role should be account admin or the owner. For you, current cost should be 00. Okay. And the most important, status should be active. If it is showing here disable, inactive, activating, or so on, it means your subscription is not yet active and we are not ready to use the portal. So in this case, you might have to wait for some more time, or if the problem still persists, you need to touch base with the Microsoft customer care team. Okay, but maximum 99.99% you will see if we follow the right procedure, you should be able to see this status. Okay, some people or some student might have enrolled in the past, and then if they're trying to enroll again with the same email address, mobile number, or the PAN card, there is a high chances their account will be disabled. That case, and mine also got disabled, to be honest, one of the account. Then you need to have a discussion with the Microsoft support team. Till here, any questions, guys?
So the subscription, I need to add subscription. So the one which you are showing, I think it's already yours, I believe, right? So
Yeah,
how
it's
do
fine.
I add a subscription?
You don't need to do anything. More, what happens is the moment you complete your free tier account dialog box, here it is. Microsoft will give you one subscription ID. You do not have to do, and you do not have to.
Oh, okay. So I don't need to add. Okay.
Yeah. This is my free tier account. I'm in the dialog box where you will be creating it, and what all that you will be getting it. A popular service is for 12 months. 55 plus services always free, and start with 200 Azure credit. Okay. So what all that you will be getting it here. See all the press free services. 750 hours B1 and Azure Virtual Machine B1 SQL database. And click on start free, complete your information, KYC information, and then you will be getting, just keep refreshing your email. Microsoft keep updating every sort of activities over the email. So once you completely done and dusted, you should be getting a confirmation email from the Azure team stating that this is your subscription ID. It is in the process of activating also. And once this activation completes, you will get confirmation email again stating that your account is ready to use. Okay.
I have one question.
Now, yes, Priya.
Yeah, actually I tried once and it is asking for the free tier and credit card. Okay, I will fill the detail of credit card, but how I get to know like, okay, if I have created any virtual machine, but how
Okay.
to get to know they have deducted money?
No, okay. So Priya, first of all, this credit card information at the time of registration, you have to supply. This is just to validate that, yeah, you are the genuine person. You are not cheating and you're not creating any kind of duplication with that. Now, this is like, Microsoft keep the credit card information in their database to maintain or to prevent any sort of duplication or misuse, as I told. Now, once you're done, the amount will be very less. I think in INR, it is 2 rupees or something. And again, that will be refundable back to you. Okay. So they will not charge anything for the credit card. Now, this credit card information will only be charged, okay, will only be charged once you completed this free tier account. Okay. That time, and the condition of this free tier account is either $200 or maximum 1 month. Okay, maximum 1 month. Now, if you consume $200 within 1 week, then you will be able to access your free services, but you will not be able to do anything. So I'll be sharing the tips and tricks to maintain the $200. And believe me, they are not going to charge anything, unless your free tier account got expired. For instance, if you're creating free tier account, so from here in 30 days, your account will be active, and thereafter it will be disabled or inactive. But again, Microsoft will keep you informing that, okay, so and so days are left. Please take some appropriate action. Now, what they're expecting that, yes, now it is time to upgrade your free tier account to pay as you go account. It means what? If you wanted to still explore the Microsoft Azure, so what Microsoft is giving 1 month free trial account. And if you're satisfied and you wanted to explore, please convert your free account in pay as you go. And there you will have to pay some sort of amount. Before, as long as your account is free tier account, nothing is gonna charge. And again, when it's going to convert pay as you go, Microsoft will keep sending you reminders, okay? Reminders again and again on your email address. All right, Priya?
Yes.
Okay. This is what you can see after your credit card. This is answer to your start free. you will be having free amount popular so and so. After your credit, move to pay as you go to keep getting popular services. Okay, after 12 months, you will be getting so and so. This is the process. All clear, guys? Free tier account. Just give it a try. Try to create your free tier account today. And because coming not today, if not possible today, so before we meet next week, ensure that you will be having the free tier account. Okay. Okay, let's go and explore some more things. So first thing first, you will check here subscription, right? For you, it should be 0, 0. Okay, for me, I have used some resources. That is the reason it is showing this much, right? Now, what else you need to check it out? This is called my resource group. Now, this is what I was talking about. So this is my resource group. Now, see here, this resource group is associated with H2S2. Okay, let me create one resource group for you. So when we create resource group, see here, always it's a good practice to go through this documentation, which comes here. A container that holds the related resources for an Azure solution. Okay, this include what? All the resources for the solution, resources. So what are the resources we have? This is called the resource group. Okay, so if I create resource group, for instance, AZ900 VM 01. Okay, and here you are associating with regions. Here we have the regions, right? The asterisk one is something that you cannot ignore it. You have to supply some values here. So it is H2S2. You can select anything. These are the different regions across the globe. Okay, always keep your resources near to your location. If you are from India, maximum for us, please keep it central India, because South India is already existed. So some or other, you know, uh, resources, if you're trying to create, or virtual machine you're trying to create, you will get an error message stating that it is not available, or it's already exhausted, or it will be damn slow. So keep the central India in your mind while creating the resources in India. Other than India, you guys can use anything, use West US or anything. So for me, I'm just keeping it India for now. Let's see that. Okay, then next. Now, this is a tagging. A tagging is what? A kind of name, the value, name and the value. For instance, this tagging is useful for the billing purpose. Okay. If I say, most of the time we have something called cost center number, right? Cost center. And I'll be giving some value. This is my cost center. So what happens is tomorrow, if I want to pull the bill with this cost center number, and I want to know that, okay, how many people, or how many, what is the billing for this cost center? I can also use something called department. And I say that, okay, IT, marketing, HR. So I wanted to pull the data where I want to filter that how many, or what is the cost for a specific department. So by giving this information, you should be able to create the resource group, and the tag. The purpose of tagging is this. Okay, and then finally we will be creating it. So if I just delete for now, and next is review and create. So it will go through the validation process, and once it is complete, you should be able to see a new resource group. So new resource group has been created, but right now it's all empty because we have not created anything. But if you see that resource group in the past, for instance, this one, okay. So I deleted a lot of other stuff, but here it is. You have some resources. This is resource under resource group. So this is called the resource group. On the left-hand side, you have something called resources and the favorite. Under the all service, okay, all service, the moment you click here, you should be able to see all sort of services, whatever the Microsoft provides. It's just like, anything, for instance, network. Under the network, what all the components we have it. Under monitoring section, what all the components we have it. Storage, what all the components we have it. IoT, identity, hybrid, DevOps, databases, containers. So these are the different solutions we have it. And of course, since our course is limited to administration, we will not touch any other things. Okay, just setting the right expectation again. We'll not do anything on the IoT. That's none of our business, and it's not the competencies also, right? We'll not touch anything on the database. To some extent, we will be creating a couple of database, but more than this, we will not work on Cosmos DB, database for MySQL, and so on. DevOps will not touch anything. Okay, hybrid plus multi-cloud. We will be talking something called Azure Active Directory. Okay, the VMware, vCenter, SCCM, Azure Network Function. No, will not touch anything. Migration, Azure Database Migration Services. No, it's not part of our course. Okay, so don't think that okay, everything we have to do it. AI and machine learning. No, it's not a part of our work. But yeah, this console is very much common across all the people, whether they are admin or the developer or they are from the different skill sets. This is only the portal where they can access whatever they wanted to deploy or incorporate in their solutions. So from here, you should be able to select. Now, a certain applications or the certain services you want to frequently add it. So you will be adding it under your favorite, how I added here. Okay. So if I suppose I wanted to under the database, for instance. Okay. Under the database, suppose this one SQL virtual machine, I frequently use it and I want to bookmark. So what you will do, you will click here on this and click on this asterisk button. Okay, the moment you click on asterisk, it will come here down there. See here, this one. And the moment you want to remove, uncheck it. It will go. Okay. So this is how actually you will add it under the favorite section. Okay, here all are my favorites. Now on the top, we have search bar. This is your search bar. So search anything which you feel like. For instance, if I wanted to create virtual machine, so I'll search with a keyword, virtual machine. Okay, it comes with a virtual machine. If I wanted to create Cosmos DB, it's there. If I wanted to create a backup service, the backup items are there under the recovery service port. If I wanted to access or say something called storage, it means all the services we can access it from. Okay. Now on the right hand side, on the left, we are almost done. Search bar we spoke about. Then we have something called here right side. The first thing is this is your console, right? The moment you click here, the console will appear like this. A very first time you will be getting this prompt. It means wherever you wanted to launch this console, you will be seeing the dark window like this. It means what? It is creating some sort of storage services to keep this commandlet, because it need to have some sort of storage, because right now once the storage will create here, okay, we will be able to toggle two set of scripting, the bash scripting and the PowerShell scripting. If you're good at PowerShell, you will be generally doing all sort of scripting using PowerShell. If you're good at bash scripting, you will be doing all sort of scripting automation through this bash. So it's up to you which one you wanted to, or what is your competency level, what is your expertise, is it bash or PowerShell, right? So here this window will come, and anything or whatever we are doing it through the console, you can do it by using the commandlet. And you have an option here to change and toggle between PowerShell and bash, like this. Okay.
So we don't have any the GUI interface to do any such thing. It's always on the terminal.
No, it is an additional. You will be doing most of the GUI things here only. This is your GUI interface. But if you say if you wanted to connect, say, because we will be using PowerShell to deploy a couple of virtual machines. So this is like automation, a scripting way to do it. This is like additional what you are doing it.
Okay, I thought. Okay. No, I thought like even I know what you're saying, but what my understanding was that once I get into service, so it's everything is GUI based. Like I have to, even for I don't need to go to terminal. That's what I was thinking.
No, GUI base is definitely there, but it is like this is automation. For instance, okay, you have to create 100 virtual machine in one shot, right? If you start doing it through the GUI mode, how it will work? Of course, you will need the entire day to create the 100 virtual machine, and that's what automation come into the picture. And using this
No, but yeah, even so, automation is something what we write in script, right? So I thought that would be also like provided in the GUI, saying that okay, let's say I have to create 200 virtual machines, then it will have some kind of edit box or whatever, which will allow me to do all those stuff.
No, it's not like that. We have to write the script, or we have the PowerShell script gallery. From there, we need to download and change the parameter the way I want in my solution, and then execute it directly from the interface, the terminal interface. Okay. You can also connect the same using the offline, but this your terminal is directly on the portal, which is up to date.
Okay, so even for the SaaS type of service, I need to do this kind of stuff.
It's up to you. You can do it with this terminal, or you can also do it from the GUI. For instance, we are using M365 services. So we are getting the same console here. So if I just wanted to, for instance, recently, we have to change the mobile number for almost 500 users. So if I start doing it through the GUI mode, it will take ages. What we do, we just did all this within half an hour by using this console terminal. So your understanding that stating that okay, something like you will get a kind of prompt, or in the console it will be there. No, it is not. It's just like you need to utilize the scripting to automate the certain stuff. Okay, and this scripting you can run it in this is the platform, whether you have a set of bash scripting or set of PowerShell scripting. This is the platform where you can run it directly on the portal. But having said that, you still have this tool available offline. It means you do not have to come to portal.azure.com to connect or execute any sort of commandlet. You can do it from your local system also. And you can connect to your cloud instances from your local system. And then once you connect to your cloud, it means you connect it to your tenant. And then you can start playing with the command line. Okay.
Okay.
And here it is a notification bar. Anything, whichever you're doing it, you will be getting a notification. And with this notification, you will be getting alarm that, okay, certain things you're creating it. For instance, if you're creating the virtual machine, you will be getting, okay, what is the status here? You can come here and see the status notification. This is your gear bar, is nothing but your settings. Under the setting, you will be getting these options. What is the default settings? What is the startup view? If I wanted to change, I can change it here. Let's see, it changed. If I wanted to change this, I can change back to this. The theme, I can change it. The look and the theme. For instance, right now it's Azure. I wanted to change to blue. I can change it. It is now changed. If I wanted to make it dark, I can make it dark. Okay. Contrast and all that also you can choose it. Then your information, language, regions also you can change it from here. This is the settings, right? And then here it is your directory plus subscription. This is the same thing here, a shortcut, which is like here. It will take you to here and start, you can also see that how many directories you have it. For instance, I had said some directories in the past. So this is all about your Microsoft Virtual Tour. Now let's go and deploy one of the virtual machine today just to get a kind of, hands-on. Because we have been just keep on talking. It's like too much theoretical and it will go beyond one certain limit. Okay, so let's give a break to the theoretical part. Let's go ahead and create one virtual machine today and see what are the options we have it, how do we connect it, what are the ways of deploying the virtual machine, that we'll see a little later. But let's first understand how do we create the virtual machine. Okay, now in Azure it is known as virtual machine. In AWS it is known as instances, EC2 instances. Okay, similarly in GCP it is again the virtual machine. So terminology sometimes gets changed when we talk about or compare with some other cloud providers. Okay, so in order to deploy the virtual machine, first thing first, what we need to do, we have to search in the search bar. This is my search bar and I'll type here virtual machine. Okay, it's already part of my favorites, but if you can either go there once you mark it favorite or bookmark it. If not, you can search here, click the virtual machine. Okay. And these virtual machine, there are two sort of virtual machines are being supported right now. I mean, as of today, one is Linux, another one is Windows. So if I click on create virtual machine, okay. So first of all, whenever we create the virtual machine, this is the sequence, okay. What is the sequence? First of all, you will be creating resource group, okay. In order to create the virtual machine, the sequence is, first of all, you will be creating resource group. This is the resource group, okay.
I have one question. So any service we create, it has to go under the resource, right? Resource group, right?
Resource group, yes.
Okay, it's
That's
not just virtual machine. Okay.
yeah. So I'm coming to that part. Yeah. Yes, any resource, any resource. So this is your resource group, and on top, first thing first, you need to create a resource group. After creating the resource group,
Without resource group, can't we create a VM? We can, I think, right?
we can create, but I'll tell you all that way. But for now, just focus on, I mean, the sequential or the chronicle order for creating the virtual machine is this is. Okay, this is the sequential way of creating it. Of course, we can just skip it, and during the deployment, we should be able to create the instant resource group. Okay, this is your resource group. On top of it, a first thing first resource group. Now, after, as far as virtual machine deployment is concerned, okay, as per this virtual machine part is concerned, after creating the resource group, you should be creating something called virtual network. Okay. You will be creating something called virtual network. We say VNet in short. And post VNet, finally, we will be creating the virtual machine. Okay. So sequence is what? Resource group, virtual network, and finally the virtual machine. This is the sequence, and this is the format that we should always practice in our lab, as well as whenever you get time. This is the thing that we have to do it in sequence. Now, certain time we do not have, we want to take the shortcut. We do not want to do it. Then of course Microsoft says okay. And say here, if I say I do resource group is must for virtual machine. If you do not create it, if you say already I've selected one, if I'm not selected, I need to create right now. Okay. So first of all, subscription, and then resource group, virtual machine name. So the name of the virtual machine. So the moment I select a resource group, down here you can see by default the Central India has come, because my resource group is already associated with this region. Okay. Now, virtual machine name, the name of the virtual machine that you should be giving it. So any name you can give it. For instance, it is a Windows. So, or else we can say VM01, whatever. Availability options, we have these many availability options, but for now we are not touching anything. We will be doing this one by one. I'm saying no, right now nothing is needed. Security type is recently Microsoft had changed something. Let's go with the standard for now. Images. Now these are the different images what Microsoft has. Now if you click on see all the images, it will take you to the marketplace. Marketplace is nothing but just like your Google store, Google Play, sorry, Google Play, and for iOS, you have something called iOS Play Store or something, right? Similarly, here also we have something called marketplace. So under the marketplace, you will be seeing a bunches of servers image. For instance, Windows Server. The moment you select here, you should be able to see all servers which Microsoft support. And since it is a Microsoft product, Microsoft say yes, I can give you all these images. And of course, when you give the images, it is not free. The Windows license cost will also be included along with this deployment. Okay. I can select Microsoft Windows 10, 11, and of course it has the different version. Similarly for 11 also the different version and the number. Then you have something called Ubuntu server, Red Hat, Ubuntu Pro, CentOS, Kali Linux, SQL Server, and these are the custom package. Like if you wanted to install server only on top, and on top of it you're installing SQL Server, 2019. That also you can do it. Similarly, if you wanted to use any Visual Studio, SQL Server, CentOS, desktop, Debian, so all this you can select. You can also click on next, and you'll get more and more images like this: DNS server, CentOS, Windows 365 image template, WordPress, data science, Rocky Linux, Oracle Linux, and so on. Okay. So I can go back, and now here I have already chosen, like I already use frequently, so I'm using this one for now. Okay, so sometime the error message which you saw, you might experience it. Okay, that okay, this image is not available. And what instantly you need to do, you have to select some other image. Then VM architecture, is it 64-bit or ARM? Right now, few images are ARM 64. So that image is not being supported for ARM 64, hence it is 64-bit architecture. Now, this is what I was talking about, size. Now, read this for at least 10 seconds. Okay, so the size offers a wide variety of VMs. So here it is. If you see all the size, these are the size are available. These are the size: D series, E series, F series, and all. Okay, so if I'm choosing one of the series, like this one, I've chosen this one. So if I've chosen this one, how much I need to pay is around 6,000 rupees in INR. Okay, per month. It is per month. Now, this is my admin account. This is the local admin account, and which I have to create right now. So if I just create, this is going to create my local admin account. Okay, so I am creating my local admin account, username and password. I've supplied the credentials. I'm all set.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
So, while explaining about this resource scope and creating washing machine, a few minutes back you said like first we need to create resource group, then followed by the virtual network, then followed by the virtual machine. So resource group already created, but where we created the virtual network?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, I've not created, to be honest, and that's what I wanted to showcase. If you skip something, then how the Azure reacts, that's what I wanted to showcase here. Ideally, I have to create this, but let's see that how actually it reacts. It just automatically create a virtual network for you. Okay, it automatically creates a virtual network for you. Okay, what we will be doing it after this, we'll go back and then again we'll come back. If you see here, I have selected the inbound port and then we'll click on next this, and under the networking section, here it is. See, automatically it is creating for me. If I forget, or if I'm not creating, it is being created by Microsoft Azure. Okay. So let's go and first create the virtual network so that we should be able to keep the server under the same subnet. This is my virtual network, and I'm using the same resource group, virtual network name, server vnet, say server vnet. Next, IP address. This is my IP address range. Okay, I can change anything. I can change it to say right now it is a class IP address. If I want to change to some other class, for instance, if I wanted to add different IP address range, okay, and here by default test taken this one. If I wanted to change it to say 10 dot or say 30 dot 30 dot 1 dot, okay, and this is going to be 31 and say 0. I'll say it's not taken. We have something called here. We can change it 30.30.64 bit. Okay, so if I wanted to use this one, okay, so it's giving me some error message, right? This is the error message. I can change it, I can keep, or I can just change some other subnet. For instance, I can go for C series 192 series 192.168.1.0. 0. Okay, now this is something that I can use it. So this is actually I'm designing my virtual network, and virtual network again we have dedicated modules which has maximum of almost 3 to 4 or 5 lectures, because that is more time consuming. If I just delete this one, I don't want this one and I wanted to keep only this, so I'll be using this address range, and then I'll be creating subnet. A subnet again is nothing but a kind of here you can give the name server. This we will be doing it as part of our network segment, guys. It is just for the demonstration purpose right now. Don't need to break your head at why this, what is the subnet, what is the VNet, how we are creating it, nothing. Don't worry about it. We will be going ahead with the scratch. Yeah.
Ajay, do you mind to explain us about the subnets /18/16? There are many, 24.
Yeah, actually, RK, I told you, right? This is part of our network segment. Now, if I get into that, this overall things will stretch. So don't worry, just go with the flow right now. We are just creating the virtual machine, okay? We definitely break down each and everything, but not in today's module. We have a dedicated network modules where we'll talk about what is the VNet, why the VNet has some IP addressing range, what all the IP addressing we have it, then what all the subnet we have it, why we can have a multiple, and in what circumstances we can have a multiple subnets, and so on. Let's just go with the default right now, because we are just still going through the basic one. If I get into this level, it will be like cumbersome. Okay, so don't worry about for now. So I'll just go ahead and create it. So I'm going with the same flow. What I did, I created a resource group, VNet. And if I don't follow this also, I can also see that, okay, Microsoft has created for me. But that is not a good practice. I'm here. So virtual network, connected devices. There's no connected devices. There's no, okay, subnet we created. Okay. So here it is. Now I want to put my virtual machine into this virtual network. Now virtual network, for now, to understand, it is a logical boundaries. Logical boundaries. Okay. So now if I come here under the virtual machine, create it. Take this resource group, virtual machine name, I'll say VM-01. Availability zone I don't want right now. Trusted standard image I've taken Windows 10. Okay, let's take Windows 10. And then this is the default configuration. And then, okay, let's take it Windows, this one. Password. Selected inbound port. Okay. Two things that we need to always remember, guys. Inbound and outbound, which is utmost critical or crucial factor to understand the behavior of the NSG and later on the firewall. And in some other instances, we should be using it frequently. So what is inbound and what is outbound? In your word or in your, what is your take for inbound? What is inbound and what is outbound, guys? As far as your virtual machine part is concerned.
I know a little bit. Inbound means whatever our network wants to allow, our VM wants to allow, and outbound whatever we wanted to allow to outside of the world.
Yeah. Correct. 1 minute. Just allow me 1 minute, guys. Yes, guys. So what is inbound and what is outbound? So as it is specified that yes, something that we allow it, okay, and in another word we can say something which is hitting any sort of traffic which is hitting towards your virtual machine. Okay, so if it is this is your virtual machine and anything hitting towards your virtual machine, okay, that is called inbound. Any sort of traffic, that is inbound. And after hitting towards your virtual machine, it goes outside. Okay, that is called outbound. Okay, anything towards your virtual machine, hitting towards your virtual machine is inbound. After hitting towards to your virtual machine and any packet going outside is known as outbound. As simple as that, guys.
But this is network level, right?
Any level you can say. It's not only network layer. Any traffic, network layer also. See if you're trying to connect to the virtual machine. So you're trying to establish some sort of connectivity. Okay. So if you're connecting towards, when you're connecting in the backend, there's some network traffic, which actually packet we say the packet gets connected, right? In so that is the called inbound. So if I say, if I want to connect my, what happened? Okay. So if I say, if I want to connect to virtual machine from my local laptop, from my system, what kind of connectivity is this, guys? Inbound or outbound?
Inbound.
It is inbound. Now, if I log into the virtual machine, and from the virtual machine, if I'm taking the another virtual machine remote, so what is that? What is the direction?
That is outbound for, that is outbound for the VM where you are
Right.
connecting
That is
to. So,
outbound. Yeah, that is outbound for my source virtual machine.
yeah, sources.
Now, similarly, some more things like, if I wanted to open internet on my virtual machine, what is that? It is outbound or inbound?
Outbound.
It's outbound, right? Similarly, if I have some SMTP server or SMTP services, I wanted to connect the virtual machine with SMTP services using some app API. So what is that? Inbound or outbound?
It's also outbound, right?
Outbound.
No, okay. I have some application or API. I want to connect to the virtual machine. Say I'm running some API code on my local system. And I want
Okay,
to
that
connect.
would be inbound. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be inbound. So do not get confused, guys. Why I'm saying and why we are just, strengthening this concept, because going forward we will be having some rules, NSG, firewall. So we should not get confused. This is like basic building block for understanding such high concepts. All right. So this is my inbound port, right? Select which virtual machine network port are accessible from the public network. Okay. So if you see that, allow selected port RDP. RDP is what? Your remote desktop protocol for Windows. If you want to take the remote desktop or you want to take the RDP for your virtual machine, you should select, remote desktop, then you should select RDP 43389. Like that, for Linux, we have something called SSH 2022. Okay. Now, licensing. Now, this is what licensing. Licensing is what Microsoft says. If you already have, yeah, please. Any question, guys?
No.
Okay. So Microsoft says if you have any sort of Microsoft vendors collaboration with the Microsoft, and you already have the part of Microsoft licensing program or software assurance program, so please bring your license. Please bring your license. Otherwise, we are gonna charge you, and if you do not give the license, if you use the license, then you can save the money, approximately 50% on the licensing cost. Okay. So any hybrid or any on-prem server's license can also be used here in the cloud. Got it? So now next is disk. So disk, it comes with premium SSD, STD. So we will select for now SSD. Okay. And this is what it says. With the best performance, you should go for either SSD premium or SSD. Okay, so I'm going with the moderate for now. A key management. This is for encryption key. Okay. Now certain companies, they have their own PKI setup, and they wanted to create some sort of encryption keys, and they want to keep a control. Instead, Microsoft keep a track of it. So Microsoft says, yeah, you can do it. Then you have to select here customer managed key if you're managing it. Okay, otherwise you will keep it default. Default it is Microsoft will take care of everything. Data disk, for now we are not doing anything. Data disk is nothing but other than your operating system, you are adding one more data disk. We will be doing it again during our VM discussion. Now next is what is networking. Next is networking. So here, the moment I select networking, you see by default, all the configuration has been selected. I have not done anything specifically. I've chosen only the network and all these IPs automatically selected. Okay, so this is the virtual network which we created. This is a subnet which we created, public IP. Now, public IP is what? It's associated with your public internet. It's a public network. And that's what it is creating right now. NIC network group is basically you're keeping it public inbound port, only this one is allowed. And with this, you're getting a warning message stating that this is not the recommended way. You should not at all allow it. And of course, it is 101% true. We should not entertain any public inbound, non-public inbound port should be open. It should not be the case. Okay. So what we have to do it, we have to select RDP port. Just give me 1 minute, guys. I'm back, guys. Okay. So this is what the default configuration we have chosen, and NSG we have chosen as a basic one, inbound port 3389, and this is a kind of warning message as you can see. But still we are going ahead. We'll let you know, or when we are going to get into the discussion more, we'll see that what is the best way to protect our virtual machine, and avoiding the public IP with the virtual machine is one of the primary things that we will be doing it as part of securing our virtual machine. All right. But for now, since it's our dev environment, test environment, lab environment, let's proceed. Next is management. Under the management, you will do all this stuff. Like, you can auto shut down your virtual machine. You can auto shut down your virtual machine like that. You can give the name, the time zone and shut down timing. If you want to enable the backup, you can do it right now, or these settings can be done post deployment also. Okay. Next is monitoring. This is like, if you wanted to enable some sort of diagnostics, then you will be enabling it. If not, you can just bypass. Then finally, you can go ahead and click review plus create. Okay, so this is the hourly charges for me. This is the hourly charges for me. And this is your configuration which you have chosen. If you wanted to change anything at any point of time, you can go to the previous tab, modify the attributes, modify the change which you want to include here, and then finally hit on create. Okay, so the moment I hit on create, it will start creating a virtual machine for me.
So can I automate this part, like the network IP or subnet, whatever we did on the GUI, can that be automated?
Yeah, it can be automated using the script, PowerShell script or Bash scripting, and we will be doing it also with the PowerShell.
Which one will be more efficient?
From the efficiency prospect, it is not from the efficiency prospect. It is, with the competency prospect. But yes, deploying using the script, which will be definitely faster than the GUI mode.
Okay.
So deployment is completed now. Now let's go to the resource. Here we have something called resource. Go to resource, and my virtual machine is ready. Okay, so let's try to connect this virtual machine. For connecting the Windows virtual machine, you'll have to connect here. It is asking the credentials, and I'll be giving that credentials which I had created during the deployment.
So whatever we are creating, this VM will be active for 1 month.
Now that's what I'm coming to. Actually, you should not keep it for 1 month. If you're keeping it for 1 month, it will be like all the money will go there only. Okay, once you complete with your lab, it's advisable to remove everything from your lab environment. Of course, it is not at all recommended for your prod, but yes, just to save $200 and just to keep the maintenance of $200, you should delete everything post our exercise. Otherwise, yes, it will just keep on accumulating amount every month and every hours. Per hour, this much will be charges, and with that you can calculate the charges.
So basically 1 month free, and after that it goes by hourly, is it?
No. The hourly charges, it will be hourly basis, but the billing cycle is 1 month. Okay. So here it is, my first Windows virtual machine, and this is the server manager. We go and check it out. This is the configuration which we have chosen. See, Microsoft has given the license to us. This is the product ID, and it has the IP version 4 and IP operating system 2020 data center Azure, and total disk. This is the RAM, and the processor. This is the processor. Now, question to you guys: since it is connecting to the public IP, will you guys able to connect to this from your end?
As long as I have a credential, I think I should be able to.
Okay, so I'm giving you the public IP here. Tell me the behavior, okay, in the chat window. What is you're getting it over there? Tell me how many of us get the prompt to supply the credentials, how I got it.
Credentials, please.
Yeah, so credentials, you got it, right? I mean, you got that prompt. Credentials,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
not going to share it for now. Yeah. So the idea here is to just to make you aware, using the public IP, you can access your resources anywhere across the world. Okay. So
Okay, I tried to ping that IP, but it says timeout. I don't know why.
ping and all that will not work. Probably because multiple time ping is blocked. But if you try to access, whether are you able to access or not? I mean, are you able to get the prompt to connect the virtual machine or not? If you are connecting, it means you're getting that prompt. It means your connection is successful.
I don't know how to connect, but I just tried to ping.
Now, what you can do, you can type here, if it is a Windows a laptop, you can type here MSC TSC and the IP address which I pinged you. This is the IP address I pinged you, and try to connect. Hit on connect.
So, just in case if you have shared the credentials and how many concurrent users can log in?
Sorry, credentials, sorry.
Just in case you have provided us the credentials. Okay. And how many concurrent users can log in?
Concurrent users, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Instantly it will be disconnected because
So
we do not have the multi sessions here. Had this been created with the multi session, then it would have created multi session environment. Okay.
So where was that option?
Yeah, we have it during the deployment. Or else there is another way of doing it, installing the terminal license. Using the terminal license also we can accomplish it.
Yeah, I got the prompt. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So that is what the intention here is, to make you aware. Using the public IP, you can connect any resources across the world. Now, if this IP, the virtual machine has a two set of IP address. If you see that, this is my public IP, okay, and down there I do have the private IP. So, will you able to do anything with the private IP? No, you will not be. You will not be able to connect this virtual machine using the private IP address. Getting sense, guys? Are we getting the point?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how actually we deploy the virtual machine.
Okay, one question. So what is that private IP?
See, private IP, it is being used to connect your virtual machine internally. It means once we start going deep dive into the virtual machine section, you will see that every set of virtual machine has a two IP address. I mean, two set of IP address, public IP and private IP. Private IP is being used for internal communication purpose. For example, if I create one more virtual machine into the same region, same resource group, so they will be able to communicate internally on the private IP address. Okay. Moreover, we always recommend that we should not equip the virtual machine with the public IP. Then there is only one option left out, which is the private IP. With the private IP, you should be able to communicate. Now, how many of us we are using the VPN to connect to your office environment, right? So VPN, when you connect, it has some dedicated IP address. With that IP addressing, you will be able to connect. Again, guys, public IP, private IP, and all these things are part of our network segment. So do not get confused. Do not get, worry about that, okay, what is a private, public IP address range, classes of IP addresses. We will cover everything. The idea here to just to keep you informed, just to keep you aware that, yeah, this is how actually we deploy the virtual machine. This will also give you some sort of, sense of completion that, okay, we have created our first virtual machine in the Azure. Because since last couple of days or so, we were just focusing on the theory. So I thought, okay, let's break the barrier here. Let's get into the lab and get some sort of confidence. Okay. Are we clear with this, guys? So with this, let's take 5 minutes break, and then we'll continue doing some other stuff. Okay. So now it is 9:20. Just 5 minutes.
So how long we are going to have the class for another like?
What does it mean? Another
No, how long?
today we'll complete
Yeah.
by 10. As we discussed yesterday, 10 o'clock will conclude. So every week we will be having 5 hours class. Okay, Saturday 2.5 hours, Sunday 2.5 hours.
Okay.
And we'll start 7:30 a.m. IST. We'll conclude 10 o'clock IST.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm starting 5 minutes. We'll assemble again after 5 minutes, guys. I'm back, guys. Let me know if we can start. Priya, Priyanka, both are different, guys.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
sir.
are here.
Priya and Priyanka, you guys are different. Just wanted to clarify because someone had joined named Priyanka.
But that the mic is not available.
Priyanka, you there?
Should you?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Okay, so you joined from some other phone or some other machine?
Yeah, mobile. From mobile I joined.
Oh, okay, so you are the same. Okay, I can see two.
Yes.
All right, okay,
Yes.
thanks. All right, guys, so let's continue. You can turn off your video. It seems someone has opened the video, guys. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so now next is what? We are going to explore something called NSG, all right? Now, NSG is what? NSG is nothing but network security group. Okay, in AWS, we have something called security group, right? Similarly, I'm audible, guys, again? My screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So NSG is nothing but is known as network security group. In AWS, it's known as security group. The concept or the objective of network security group is to protect your virtual machine and virtual machine skill set. We'll talk about skill set a little later, but the concept of NSG is keep a inbound and outbound very much secure. Okay. Now, that is the reason I ask to pay more attention on the inbound and outbound, because NSG, the role of NSG is to control the behavior of this traffic. Now, if you see here, there is something called network. Under the network security group, we have something called network security group. This is the inbound rule. This is the outbound rule. Okay. Now, see the by default rule. This is nothing but network security group. See the default rule here. 65,000. It should start with the 65,000 and deny all inbound by default. And that is the reason if I do not include RDP port 3389 during the deployment or the post deployment, I'll not be able to take remote desktop for my virtual machine because by default it is denied. So this is called the system root, default root. 65,000, 65,001, 65,000. So if you see this, and you might have been wondering why the number is so massive. Okay. So what Microsoft is saying that I have created a default rule according to my setup policy. Okay. But if you want to override this policy, you're free to do. You create the, lower this, whatever the number I have given to you, you create lower priority and override any setting or customize the way you want. Okay, and that is the reason if I given the priority 300, so it has created a new rule for me, which override any settings, what is being given to me as a part of default inbound rule.
This Priyanka was given by you at the time of creation of the
Yes.
video.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So during the deployment, we had given this priority. So, which concludes lower the priority, higher the precedence. Lower the number, higher the possibility to connect. Okay, that is the thumb rule. This is very much applicable for NSG and the firewall both. In the coming days, we will be talking about firewall. But for now, the priority is something lower the priority, higher the precedence. This is the thumb rule. So 300, it means lower than what is given to me, and I'm suppressing and overriding the existing rule. Okay, this is inbound rule. Similarly, we also have something called outbound rule. Now, outbound rule is also this one. Okay. Now, I'll ask you that, okay, for instance, I'm here, and if you open internet here, so what kind of direction is this, guys?
Outbound.
Outbound, right? Yeah. So if you see that outbound, I'm able to open internet without any problem. I've not created anything as of now, right? So it is like I'm able to open Flipkart, am able to open Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on. It means internet is working. So this is also one of the interview-based question. Could be why the internet is working on the default virtual machine? Because of this rule. If you go here on the outbound rule, you see that rule number 65001, allow internet outbound, port this, and internet is allowed. By default, because of this, internet is allowed. Okay. Now, if I wanted to block it, say I do not want this LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other website to be open inside my virtual machine. How do I do it? I'll create a outbound port rule, which I allow not to access what? Port number 80 and 8880 and 443, which is this one. I'll block it. And I'll say priority number 100. I'll just keep it 500. Anything lower this number. Blocking internet. If I create this rule, instantly, after a couple of minutes or so, internet will be blocked on this virtual machine. The outbound rule, and I'll say, I'm not added allow. I need to delete and create it. It has to be deny. I had allow only this one. Let's create again. I'm saying services HTTP this one, and I'm saying deny it. And
If you have 500, that will go as a priority, right?
yes.
But that priority says allow. So
No, I
unless you
deleted. I deleted.
or deleted it, okay.
Yeah, by mistake I had created allow, so I deleted that one.
So without creating the priority, so suppose we are without taking any priority, just against that priority, whatever is happening, like 65,000 or 65,001. So can we sense change the action into block directly without adding new priority?
No, we can't, because these value we can't edit it. See, if you see these three values and you come here, try to do anything, it's a grayed out for me. You can't do anything with the default one, what is Microsoft is giving to you. The default, you can't make any sort of changes. You want to make it changes, you create a lower number of priority and do whatever you want. This is very much true for the inbound and outbound. See here also, all three default priority, if I try to delete or modify, it's a grayed out for me. It's a grayed out. I can't do anything there. Okay. So now if I connected here, if I come, close, refresh. Now, if I try to open internet, and let's try to connect LinkedIn now. try to connect Facebook. This is still coming up. Just taking some time to refresh this page. LinkedIn is blocking, it seems. Microsoft. So I'll be getting something similar to this. It means my internet is blocked. If I select outlook.com or say bbc.co, bbc.com, nothing is opening, right? Because it's blocked. This outbound port, which we selected, this is denied now.
We have selected only HTTPS, but internet can access via HTTP.
Correct. So yes, for that again we have to create the rule for HTTP 80, and again we have to create it deny rule.
One more question. How we get to know that port number 443, like how I get to know which, like how to like deny, I can't access the internet, which port number I have to put?
No, so by default these are the known ports, right? The port number 443, the port number 80, SMTP port, RDP port. These are the known ports. Okay. Now I understand some sort of sense you guys have, and that is why we will be talking something called the firewall. There is some limitation here. Limitation in sense, if you see that if I block the port number 80 and A443 both, so it is blocking the entire internet, which is not the ideal scenario in most of the cases, because I wanted to allow the certain educational website, but at the same time, I do not want LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta to be accessible, or uh, any other unknown or vulgar website. I do not want to access it, and I do not want to give any sort of access to my employees or the users, right? So that much granular control, we will not be able to do it from NSG. That is the limitation here. We'll have to go for firewall. Here, certain level of control that we can do it, the port level, but the services level, we'll have to go and block it at the network layer, which is the Azure firewall come into the picture like this. So what is the limitation here? That is being covered as a part of firewall objective. So here we can only block the ports, not the service guys. Okay. Again, if I go and delete this rule, then I should be able to access the internet again in a while.
We have selected Central India or South India, right? Region.
Central India.
Okay, the RDP time is different.
What is that? Time.
Time.
This is time. This time you're saying?
Yes.
That we have to change it. It is UTC, right? We have to change it.
Okay, I think when we choose the nearby location, nearby region, it may automatically come down to nearby location.
Yeah. So now it is fine. 940. Okay.
And what is that priority and that port number? Both are different. It's just a number priority.
Which one you're saying, Priyanka?
Yeah, 65,000. Allow V net outbound priority number. That one 65,000. What
Yeah,
does that?
this is the default priority number, which is
Okay.
assigned by Microsoft. We have not done anything here. That's what I've been saying, that if you want to suppress this rule, we need to create a new rule with a lower number. And then with this, you should be able to suppress this rule. This is the default rule. Okay. Now if I refresh, try to open internet, Edge. Now it is opening. Facebook is opening, LinkedIn is opening, and bbc.com is opening. Clear, guys? This is the behavior to control the outbound port for the virtual machine. Okay. The another functionality of the NSG is to control the behavior of inbound. Now, if I block this RDP port, if I delete this, I'll not be able to take the RDP for this. Okay. So similarly, similar exercise, what we can do one more thing. Let's do it. We can just load some application on this virtual machine. Okay. Now, right now, if you see that it is a simple web virtual machine. Let's try to make this virtual machine as a web server. So to make the web server, by any chance, do you know, guys, what is the component that we need to install on Linux and Windows? To make any server as a web server, what is
Actually, Tomcat server.
sorry?
Tomcat server.
Yeah. How about Linux? Sorry, Windows?
I know about only Linux. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So under the Linux, you will be having Apache. There also we can install it. And Windows, we have something called IIS. If you install the IIS component, that server will become the web server. Right?
IIS, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
IIS. Okay. So let's do it. How do we install this IIS component? There are two ways. First one is we can go to Server Manager and click on Add Role and Features. Click Next. Click on Role Base. Select the server and click on this button, Web Server IIS, and click Next, Next, Next. It will install in a moment. Okay, so let's go ahead here, or else we can also do it with the PowerShell. Okay, that is only one line command. And for this, what is the command? Install Windows features. Name web-server, include features, include management tool, and hit on enter. This is one line command. Okay, I'll just copy this and give it to you guys on the chat if you need. Hit on enter, and this will start installing the IIS. Okay, I'll give it to you guys here in the chat window. Oh, it's not copied. Yeah, I have it in PowerShell. I'll give it to from there. Okay, keep it handy, this command. So this will install the IIS component, and post installation, I should be able to see the web page, default web page for my server. So still we are exploring something called NSG, Network Security Group. Okay, till now you understood that how we control the inbound and outbound behavior of our virtual machine. Okay, by choosing the right set of inbound and outbound port. Now we are still exploring and going ahead with the different use case for the NSG. Anything which you like to ask, please feel to ask right away. Let's utilize the time. By the time this installation goes on, you can ask any question. Whatever questions comes in your mind till now, whatever we have done it, please ask the questions.
Ajay, team has said like I started a study, right? So, team has said like you will be recapping about the first session that we had.
Yeah, actually, yesterday night they have shared me the link where to upload it.
Mhm.
I'll sync with them and ensure that all of the recordings, previous recording plus today's recording, uploaded there. They shared me the credentials to upload. So I'll be post this class, I'll be doing it the same.
Okay. So you'll be sharing only via WhatsApp, right?
Yeah, I'll confirm over the WhatsApp only. From there, you guys can sync it on the Gmail, Yahoo, or whatever you feel so.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there was a slightly delay, guys, but don't worry. Once we are regular, every week after the class, once the conversion gets completed, I'll be uploading this recording on a regular basis. Okay. So this completes this part. Now you see that how do we verify whether this IS had got installed? First of all, if you just refresh it, the server manager, IS console will come here like this. Okay. It means our server got the IS. Okay. Internet Information Service. The second part is if you try to open Edge here and type here local host. So I should be able to see the same page like this, Internet Information Service. Okay, it means my server has now IS, or the server this server has become web server now. Okay. Now, question to you guys. If I try to open the public IP of this virtual machine, which is here, if I try to open public IP here, like this in Internet Explorer, will I able to see the same page what I can see here inside the virtual machine?
It is the same IP or?
It is the same IP, right? It is the same public IP. I right now I logged into the virtual machine, and inside the virtual machine you are seeing this page. What I'm saying, if I copied the public IP here, this is my local laptop.
Right, we can see it.
Yeah. So will I able to access this website there?
Yes.
Yes? No?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay, now keep this public IP handy with you and just give a try at your end also. Now let me know the result. What is happening with this IP?
It won't connect.
Yeah, it will not come.
Any port that we need to connect?
Yeah, that's what you guys have to think now. What is the port that we need to allow? And first of all, where you will allow? What sort of traffic is this? All these things you need to consider and come up with your solution. Now you're trying to open IS or web page. Okay. And I've given you the link here. So first of all, you need to identify what is the port that you need to allow. So in the chat window, if you see, it says HTTP. It's not says HTTPS.
Correct.
Right? So what is the port that you will allow, and what kind of
80.
traffic is this? Inbound or outbound?
It is like the port is 80 and we are trying to access from outside. It has to be both, I think.
Inbound for 2020-204-5386
Yeah.
and outbound for from my laptop.
So if you go with this diagram, guys, with this here, now tell me, what is that? Is it inbound or is it outbound? Accessing IS page or accessing web page from your local system. What is inbound or what is outbound here? Is it inbound? Sorry, is it inbound or outbound?
I feel it should be
Outbound.
the port should be allowed in both ways, inbound and outbound, because we are trying to fetch something from the machine, and it has some information, and it has to allow to pass to the other machines.
Okay.
So
So let's do one thing. Let's understand and do the practical. Okay. I'll not touch anything on the inbound for now. Let's go ahead and allow the port HTTP. Okay. Outbound port. I'm not touching anything on inbound. So this is my port number 80 and I'm saying allow it. Allow. Okay. Add it. Done. Now, okay. Let's wait for some more time and then give a try again.
no luck.
Okay.
No luck.
No luck.
Yeah.
So try to figure it out, guys. Something is wrong here. Now, again, if you recall with the concept what we discussed, what is outbound and what is inbound? Anything towards a virtual machine is inbound. Anything going from the virtual machine is outbound. Now, consider in this case, internet, IS space. Is it going anything from virtual machine to outside world?
Suppose I
You do not have to see your machine. You do not have to see. Actually, we are getting confused here only. Do not see your laptop. You see the virtual machine status. From here, you consider the inbound and outbound, because here you are putting control on your virtual machine, not on your laptop. On your personal laptop, you're not doing anything. Here, this is the parameter that you're playing around with your virtual machine. That is only the thing that we need to consider. Do not get confused. So if I'm saying anything towards inbound, it means that is inbound. Anything after we logged in, after we are into the virtual machine and trying to open anything, the base here will be the virtual machine. From virtual machine, if you're trying to access internet, that is outbound. From virtual machine, if you're trying to connect another virtual machine, that is outbound. From virtual machine, if I'm trying to connect to any database, that is outbound.
Here I have a small example, Ajay.
Mm-hmm.
So suppose in the same virtual machine we hosted a Amazon .in, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we are trying to connect to the that machine 2204, that machine, and we are trying to fetch some details and search for something and add to cart and buy something. So then it has to be inbound and outbound also, right?
So if you are accessing any sort of hosted application, for instance, say Amazon Web Services related or storage related services which you install it on your virtual machine, and you're trying to access from where? You're trying to access from your local system, But actually, the local system, when you're trying to access, for virtual machine, it's going to be inbound. Okay. For you, it could be outbound because you're accessing. So we do not have to consider the later part. We have to consider how the virtual machine is being treated. Is it inbound or outbound? So virtual machine in this case, whether it is a IaaS, HTTP, RDP, or SMTP, or any other services which you talk about, it's a inbound. It's not outbound. Are we getting this point, RK?
So then, sir, like if we are hosted IIS on virtual machine, so we are trying to reach that from the IP from our local machine. So that will be for inbound for virtual machine, right?
Yeah, inbound for the virtual machine. That's what I've been saying. We have to consider inbound and outbound only for the virtual machine, not for our system, because we are controlling, we are putting all these restrictions, control on the virtual machine. Okay, all of these controls are here. These are the controls, right?
So in that case, we will have to allow inbound for the 88 and 443, so that we'll be able to reach that port only.
Absolutely. So we do not have to worry about anything here. Outbound, no, nothing is needed. We just need to add the inbound port, and that would be port number 80. Here, to go with an HTTP, and here if I say allow port number 80 and add it. Outbound, nothing. I removed the one which we added. I've just created inbound port. Okay. Refresh it, wait for a couple of more seconds or so. So the RDP allow any HTTP inbound towards my virtual machine is allowed now. Okay. Now, if I open or try to open now with the same IP or the URL which I gave it to you. Wait for some more time, just reflecting.
If at all, like, I'm asking the same question again. So if at all in the 22.04.53.86, we hosted a Amazon.in, then we need to allow both, right?
See, if you hosted any website, okay, inside the virtual machine. So to access the specific service, for instance, Amazon.in, you will be allowing the port number 80. But from there, if you wanted to access anything from the virtual machine, then yes, in that case, you need to allow both the thing, inbound and outbound. But if you're not accessing from the virtual machine anything, for instance, wherever you install this Amazon service inside the virtual machine, from there, if you're making some other connection, then you need to allow the port. Otherwise, you don't need to allow the port. From outside world, as long as your Amazon site is open on the port, specific port number, if you allow it, people should be able to access. Is it
so the inbound is so in this case we have the IaaS server running on the virtual machine, so it's inbound to virtual machine, so that's why we
have to only consider the virtual machine section.
Okay, so let's say like IaaS is running on the virtual machine, right? So it is inbound for the web server also, right? Isn't it? True.
Sorry, come again. Last part I missed.
So it is inbound for the IaaS server also, correct?
Oh, IaaS servers, yes, it is an inbound for IaaS server also, correct.
Okay. Even though it is inbound for IaaS server, we don't need to do anything on the IaaS.
IaaS, we don't need to do anything. See, if you're talking these IaaS settings on the server, right? This is my server, and if I open the IaaS here, so it is hosted.
Oh, okay.
It is hosted on the same machine, right? So the whatever the machine settings are there, it will take that one.
Okay. We didn't configure anything.
No, we have not configured, right? We have not configured anything. We have not configured anything.
No, not on the Azure also. We are not saying anything. Okay, I got it.
Right. So it is only the service. See here, you can bind multiple website. You can create a website here. Now for this website, if suppose you created or you deploy some website with SSL certificate, and you want the people should be able to access this website, which is hosted on your this one. So the moment you create SSL website, then you need to allow the port number 443 instead of 80. Because the server, the base operating system is, if it is blocked, your services will not be able to access. People will not be able to access services. So the control is very much there on the parent server. So these controls which you supply it on the machine, that will be more applicable.
Can we control rather than on the VM? Can we control it on the web service? I mean IaaS.
Here we hardly have any control. We hardly have any control here.
Okay, so it is not possible.
It's not very much possible because we are talking on the NSG level here. Even though if you try to block or allow it any sort of services here, okay, but on the NSG, if you block it, so NSG control the overall behavior of your virtual machine. So assume that, okay, by any chance you created any sort of rule here. The rule will itself not go beyond your virtual machine. So virtual machine will always override any sort of application settings what you have it. Okay, NSG is so powerful. It will definitely block it.
So suppose
NSC,
One way.
NSC, you mean to say the app server?
This is the NSG what we talked about. NSG, inbound and outbound rule. Right?
Oh, okay.
This is the rule I'm saying. These are the rules what we are talking.
So suppose we have created like the IIS server, and you said that we hardly have control over that IIS server. So in VM, we have later, suppose we are going to create any Active Directory server. So can't we make any changes over those?
No, those changes we can definitely do it. Okay, but it has to be aligned with our NSG. For instance, you talk about AD, you talk about say any mail SMTP server. So the mail SMTP server, if you're installing, so associate port has to be open. You know, when you're installing the AD server on the virtual machine. So if you feel so, again, guys, it is why we are doing it, because it is this service we wanted to access over the public network. But probably in your case, Saswar, when you're installing AD, DNS server 53, your Kerberos 88, these port, the 32689, 389 LDAP port, you don't need to expose over the internet. Why do you need to expose it? Because you don't need it all. It's going to be used for your internal AD related stuff. Here we're talking on some services which we wanted to expose over the public network. That's what we have opened this port. If you do not want to open the port and you feel so, these services I don't need on the public interface. For instance, for SQL Server 1433, this port, when you don't need to expose and you don't feel like, okay, why should I expose it? Because my database is very much connected with my web server. So you don't feel like opening it. Don't open it. This port, I just wanted to showcase because this is the behavior. Rather
Public.
than opening, certain port, you can open the certain port from one machine to another machine. So do not open anything on public interface unless it is very much needed for you.
And sir, suppose like I have created multiple VMs. Suppose I have created 10 VMs, and all those 10 VMs are into the single network. Suppose if for organization's network, and I have hosted AD or like SQL Server. So if I want to allow those among those 10 ADs without exposing into the public servers, is it possible?
Yeah, we can do it. There's a concept here, there's a concept here that is called application security group. Like the way we have something called NSG, we also have the application security group. Now, this configure, you see that configure the application security group. What does it mean? You put the similar set of server in one group, or instead of allowing the port one by one, you can one shot, you can add it here and allow the port. Okay, showing only the application security group in the same region and so and so. It will help to create, similar behavior.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So this is all about NSG. Any further questions, guys? I hope you're getting it now. RK, is this doubt clear? You have a lot of confusion.
Yes, a little bit more explanation needed for the application
Yes,
security group.
please. So try to do the practical, in the next class, I want everyone to have this portal ready so that you can do more hands-on. Okay, and we are not yet done, right? So once we done everything, guys, please, it's a best practice, to come here under the resource group. And for example, right now I'm done. Okay, and this is what I do recommend for other students, and for also I execute for myself if I'm done with my class. Okay, and I don't need, so instead of going to one by one resource, I can just delete this resource group itself. Okay, so if I click here, delete resource group, so underneath whatever the resources are there, see, these are the resources are created during our deployment. So I'll go ahead and delete it in one shot. I don't have to delete one by one resources. That is the beauty of resource group. I click delete and everything will be deleted.
Before that, we need to shut down the machines or something?
Not needed. See,
Okay.
shutdown status also, again, it's a good question and interview-based question. If you shut down virtual machine, what do you think? The billing or the cost will be stopped? Yes or no?
It will be paused.
It will be?
Pause.
No, they will charge.
Okay, they will be charging it. The reason being is, if you see I have created this virtual machine. So along with the virtual machine, what all the components in the backends are being created? You are creating public IP. You are creating network security group. You are creating the disk, right? So indirectly, even though your virtual machine is it in shutdown status, okay, your public IP, which is assigned to you by Microsoft, is still being used. Your network, your storage, which is assigned to you, is still being used. And that is the reason they will charge. Of course, the charge will be minimal. For instance, for keeping this virtual machine for 1 hour, if suppose it is 10 rupees per hour, when you're putting into shutdown status, it will be only 1 hour, 1 rupees or 2 rupees per hour, like that. But charges will be there because of this reason. Okay, so this is also one of the interview-based questions. Yes. guys. All right, guys. So if there's no further question, we can wrap up for the day, and I'm going to hit on delete. Okay. So this will delete everything which we have done so far. Okay, including resource group, including virtual machine, NSG, disk, everything. This
There
is
is a
like destructive.
checkbox.
Sorry?
There is a checkbox for apply force delete for selected virtual machines and
It's not needed for now because we are not creating any virtual machine and skill set. You can apply it, it's optional. Okay, it will delete. So I'm deleting it. So instantly it will delete everything what you can see. And you can close this. Once you give this command, you can close this page also. In the backend, it will be deleted every sort of resources. Okay, and my virtual machine disconnected because it is forcefully deleting it. So slowly and gradually, everything will be gone out from my eyes. Right? So that's it for the day, guys. I hope you enjoyed the session today, and a lot of learning curve for you and for everyone. And as far as uploading the videos, I got the link. Once this conversion takes place, I'll upload all the previous and today's recording, and I'll share the link. How do you access it? Okay.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you, guys. See you in the next week on same time. Again, let me reiterate, 7:30 to 10 o'clock every Saturday and Sunday we'll meet. Any sort of emergency or any sort of workload pressure or something, it is our moral responsibility to keep everyone informed, at least in WhatsApp group.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Right. See you.